I had spoken with Mr. Heaton a couple weeks ago, and he told me that he wanted to inform the board about septic or sewer options for the Westfield property that the board's looking at, and I told him that obviously the sooner the better to have it on the agenda to discuss it right up front. So I got him on tonight's, and he can tell us where we're at with that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I wanted to do, if I could, is take advantage of the time to give the board an update on where we are with the project. I'm moving ahead as quickly as possible, and my objective is to be able to issue, answer your questions this evening, and if appropriate, issue an RFP at the end of the month. At the last meeting, what you asked me to do is to review the need for affordable housing in town and to give you an overview of whether or not, in fact, it was needed and whether it was appropriate. And I've done that. I distributed a presentation to you of some 40 pages, which I'm not going to try to go through today, but I am going to summarize it on one page and try to give you an overview of what I believe is the need for affordable housing in town and the type of housing that you may want to consider providing. The other thing I'd like to do, as the chairman mentioned, is give you an update on what this need will mean in terms of septic or sewer, and start the process of going through a couple of very simple conceptual plans of what the project might look like. So very simply, if you go to page 2, I'm going to run through some statistics. The statistics conclude that there is a need for affordable housing in town, and it starts to describe what the housing might look like if you decide to move in this direction. You have a population of a little over 21,000 year-round residents. You have a little over 10,000 housing units in town. A little over 6,000 of them, or 58%, are owner-occupied. The rest are either vacant or they're occupied by renters. The median home value in Wareham is $251K compared to Massachusetts, which was $366K. That's a significant difference.
Mr. Heaton, Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? The vacancy, the 23%, the 2,478 units, I presume that is those are units that are vacant because they're second homes?
I assume so too, Mr. Secretary. Yes, I assume they're primarily vacation homes. This information came from the U.S. Census data, and I assume that's what they're capturing is second homes from vacation homes. Of the 6,000 odd units that are owner occupied, 3,500 of them have a mortgage, which means over 40% of them do not have a mortgage. That is somewhat significant in that people are living in their homes, they have paid off their mortgage, and they're probably senior citizens that are no longer paying a mortgage. 26% of the residents are over 55 years. That's 5,500 homes are occupied by residents over 55 years or older. 1,700 or 29% are occupied by residents over 65 years or older. 4,900 of the housing units were built more than 48 years ago, relatively old construction. And you have approved 40B projects, 2 of them, which will generate 183 units in town, of which 20 units will rent below $500. The other units will rent in the order of $1,000 a month, which may or may not be affordable depending how you look at it. The median income in Wareham is $51,800 compared to $62,300 in the rest of Massachusetts. Of the 3,400 units that are owner-occupied, of the the 6,000 units that are owner-occupied, 34% of them make less than $50,000 a year. The 968 and 670 are over 65, are singles over 65 years of old, 65 years of age, and 38% of them make less than $30,000. So this points to a very relatively old population that is aging in their homes that they purchased, and they no longer have a mortgage, and they probably are feeling the burdens of home ownership, both maintenance, taxes, and being hit by the crunch of general inflation that's taking place. So if you go to the next page, I've identified 4 basic subgroups of people that I believe you should consider providing affordable housing for, either now or at some point in the future. The first group is seniors on fixed income. They're feeling the pressure. There's 5,500 of them that are over 55, and there's 1,760 that are over age 62 that are in an owner-occupied home. That's one category. Second category is residents below the poverty level. You have 2,100 people who are below the 100% poverty level. The poverty level is a level that's set throughout the 48 states. It's $10,200 a year for a single person, and it's $20,650 per year for a family of 4. So there's 2,100 people that are below the 100% poverty level, and there are 5,700 people that are below the 200% of the poverty level. And 200% is about $21,000 a year for a single person, or about $44,000 per year for a family of 4. Those are very marginal. If you're making that much money, you really need affordable housing. You can't afford to pay $1,000, $2,000, $1,500 a month. You need something very, very appropriate.
Is it, Dick, and I don't know if you can make parallels here, but does that mean that there's a lot of people on assistance? Because if we go back to the rent numbers that you were giving, it doesn't seem as though people making that amount could be affording these places. So how are they living here? There are, I could tell you, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I could tell you how many are living on assistance, how many are getting Social Security. What this means to me, that there are a large number of people who are in their house and they own it. They don't have any mortgage on it, so their rents, to service it, all they're doing is paying taxes, and they're paying maintenance costs, oil, heat, etc. But it does point that you get to feel the nature of the problem. The third group is the single parents. There are 1,100 females in town who are single parents, and there are 320 males who are single parents. I know from the other statistics that this group is also feeling pressure to be able to afford their housing. And the fourth group is both females and males with disabilities. A very high percentage of people in town, 42% males, 34% of females have disabilities, and that compares to the state, which is at least twice what the state average is. So there's a lot of people with disabilities. So whatever is built, it's very important that it be built, be handicap accessible to take advantage of those requirements. Now these are 4 general categories. They aren't exclusively independent. You know, if you were to build a seniors project, you would more than likely than not be addressing some of the people who are below the poverty level. So these are not exclusive. They really do get merged together. If you go to page 3,